So welcome everybody to this latest video on 162 Maths, and in this video we'll be going over a quick topic test with a collection of some GCSE exam style questions on collecting and representing data at foundation level. Now a copy of the questions for you to have an attempt at before watching through this video is available for you to download by clicking on the link in the description, which I strongly recommend you do to see how much understanding you have on this topic. Now, before we get started, it's worth mentioning that there is no indication about whether these questions are calculator or non-calculator. So what we'll do is we'll just not use a calculator so that if they do appear on a calculator paper, it should be moderately slightly easier. So let's get started on question 1. So question 1 says, here is some information about clubs at a school, and it says use the information to complete the pictogram. The first 2 rows have been done for you. Remember to complete the key. Now that is probably the most important thing that we need to do first, which is to complete the key. Now we know that football has 40 members and we've got 4 circles, so that means that 1 circle will represent 10. So it's worth noting there. So if 1 circle represents 10, what we then need to do is to work out how many are going to be in the chess and the maths club. Well, actually not actually work it out, but we just need to represent it on the diagram. So how many 10s go into 20? Well, that's going to be 2. So we just need to do 2 circles for chess. And then we need to do 25. So that's 10, 20, and then half of 10. So we do a semicircle, and that should be good enough. Now, could you do those circles and semicircles in any particular order? Yes, you can. But I would personally just try and keep with circles and then finish off with parts of a circle. Try and keep your circles in a row, although technically speaking, I don't think you'd lose a mark if it was out of sync of those rows. As you can see, my third one is slightly out. Let's look at question 2. So question 2 says, Anne, Beth and Cal bake and sell cakes. Beth and Cal sell 50 cakes in total. Beth sells 6 more than Cal. Draw the bars for Beth and Cal on the bar chart. Now there's several ways in which we can do this and how you can work it out. So we know that both of these 2 people combined needs to add up to 50. So if we look at Beth and we look at Cal, then if we assume, as we don't know both of these 2 results, now we know that Beth has 6 more than Cal, so Cal has less, so let's put that as X. So that means Beth is going to be X plus 6. Now we know that the total of these 2 is going to be 50, so we've got 2x plus 6 equals 50. And then if we solve this equation, we get 2x equals 44, so x equals 22. So that means that Beth is going to be 22 plus 6, which is 28, and Cal is going to be 22. So there's our 2 numbers. Another way you could do it is, you know that you've got 50, and you've got Beth, and you've got Cal. Now, if we split the difference in 2, so that's going to be 3. So then we've got 50 and we've got 50. And if we split the difference, now we know that Cal is going to have less, so that's going to be minus 3. And for Beth, we're going to add 3. So therefore then that is going to be, well actually it needs to be 25, not 50. I don't know where I got that from. Let's just correct that. So there. And we end up with 28 and 22 as we did using the algebraic method. So any of those would be absolutely fine as a valid method. So here we just need to plot it on our diagram. So Beth is 28, so that's going to be 2 above, and so that's going to be there. And Cal is going to be at 22, which is there. And you just need to make sure that you are using a ruler. So let me just do that as accurately as I can, and which is a little bit more difficult on the computer, like so. And if we do the same for Cal, and you want to make sure that with the bar chart that you've got equal spaces between the bars and that the widths of the bars are the same. Let me just extend that out a bit, and there we go. So there we go. For question 2b, it says, it costs Anne £1.50 to bake a cake. She sells them for £5 each. How much profit does Anne make selling all of her cakes? Now Anne is selling 27 cakes. And so let's have a look at the cost price. So the cost price is going to be 27 times 1.5. And if I either work that out analytically by using a piece of paper or by using a calculator, it should come out to £40.50. Now, the total sale price that she makes, or the income, is going to be 27 times 5, which is 135. So then to work out the profit, all I need to do is take away those two numbers. So it's going to be 135 minus 40.50. And again, if it's on a non-calculator, we just need to work that out using our methods of subtraction. We should have an answer of £94.50. Moving on to question 3. So here we've got a line frequency diagram. It says the diagram shows the number of goals scored by a team in 20 matches. How many times did the team score 2 goals in a match? So we need to look at 2. We look at it high to that, which is 4, and there is our final answer. Question 3b, it says that at the end of the season, the team played 24 matches. They scored 40 goals in total. How many goals did they score in the last 4 matches? So first of all, what we need to work out is work out the total number of goals in the first 20 games. Now to do that, what we need to do is multiply the number of goals by the number of times they scored that amount of goals. So here we're going to have 0 times 5, which is our first bar. Then we're going to go for 1 times 6 plus, I'll try and use different colours, plus 2 times 4 plus 3 times 3 plus, let's go for this one, and then 4 times 1, and finally 5 times 1. And so if I work out each of those brackets, we get 5 times 0 is 0, plus 6 times 1, plus 2 times 4, plus 3 times 3, plus 4 times 1, plus 5 times 1. And that comes up to a total of 32 goals. So if they scored 40 goals in total, and in the first 20 matches they scored 32 goals, then how many goals did they score? Well, it's going to be 40 minus 32. So the answer then is 8 goals. Then moving on to question 4, it says the pie chart shows information about the number of students attending 4 colleges. What percentage of the total attend College C? So College C, you can see, is 90 out of 360, which is basically a quarter. So that as a percentage is 25%. Then moving on to the last one, or not the last one, 4b, it says compare the number of students at College A to the number of with the number at the other colleges. So you can see that what we need to do here is not just comment that College A has half the total number of students. You've got to compare it to at least one of the other colleges. So a statement that says that the number of students attending College A is the same as the number of students attending all other colleges, or you could name it as College A, B and C combined. So that would be one statement you could say, but again you could then compare the College A to any of the other colleges. So you could say that there are twice as many students at College A than at College C. So anything along those lines where you're comparing College A with any of the or multiple colleges, that's going to be fine. But certainly do not just say that College A is half or 50%, because the question is asking you to compare it with the number at any other college. Moving on to our last question, it says that 1,200 students attend college D. How many students attend all the colleges? So for this, what we need to do first is measure the angle of college D. And if you do that correctly, you should get an answer of around about 60 degrees. Now, so what we then work out is that 1,200 students equals 60 degrees. And we want to work out how many students there are in 360 degrees. So think to yourself, well, how do we get from this number to 360? Well, I need to multiply by 6. So I need to do the same to the 1,200. So if I do 1,200 times 6, I get an answer of 7,200, which is our final answer.